Alright guys, Bitcoin just hit a very important level and what will happen next is likely not what most expect. Let me show you exactly what is going on. So in yesterday's video, after Bitcoin got rejected from sweeping this liquidity level right here, we talked about the daily level that Bitcoin needs to break below if it wants to continue to the downside. But if it fails to break that level, we said even new highs are possible from there in the short term. And what you are going to see right here is that Bitcoin did not break below. It actually closed a few candles above the daily level and bounced right past the recent high. And even though I shorted that initial move, I did say that I still think we might be going a little higher and that if that happens, I'll be reshorting at a better level. And that is exactly what I did. I reshorted slightly higher at 81.5 thousand US dollars. And later in the video, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm playing this trade and where my targets are. Now Bitcoin is currently trading slightly above the top of this ascending channel that it's been in for the past 3 months. But this might not actually be a breakout, and let me show you exactly why. If we look at the structure of this whole range, what you're going to see that it is actually a 3-wave move, a WXY. And I called this out a while back when Bitcoin was still trading much lower, around 70,000 US dollars. We said back then this is shaping up as a WXY correction, and it looks like the pattern is now getting closer to completion and is near the top. So let me walk you through it. First we have the W wave up, then the X corrective wave down, and then the W wave pushing higher into where we are right now. And if we look at the previous range before this one, it actually looks very similar. Again, the W wave, X wave down, and the Y wave up. Same exact structure. And when that one completed, Bitcoin got a massive push to the downside. And if we now take the fib extension and drag it from the start of this move to the top of the W wave, then down to the bottom of the X wave, what you're going to see is that the 1-to-1 target comes in right at the top of the ascending channel. And Bitcoin has already hit it on the normal chart. But if we switch over to the log scale, what you're going to see is that Bitcoin actually hasn't hit the 1-to-1 target just yet. There is still a little bit of room to the upside on the log scale before the target gets properly tagged. And that is of course not impossible to happen. So if Bitcoin does push slightly higher from here, I will definitely be adding to my short position. Because in my opinion, we are somewhere at or very near the local top. And with the WXY playing out exactly like the last one, the ascending channel top being right here and the 1-to-1 fib target being already hit on the normal chart and slightly higher on the log scale, I think this is a very high probability area for a major rejection. And if we right now open up the liquidation heat map on the 3-day chart, what you're going to see is that major short liquidations have already been taken on the way up. And this is something I always pay attention to, because usually when the market does this and wrecks traders multiple times on one side, it tends to move in the opposite direction sooner or later. And it's not only on the 3-day chart. If you zoom out a little, you're going to see a very similar story. Major short liquidations hit right here as well. And if we zoom out even further to the 2-week chart, the same thing. So Bitcoin has been sweeping shorts on the way up over and over again, and that definitely tells me that Bitcoin could see a move to the opposite side sooner or later. And before I continue with the targets and how I'm playing my short, I would really appreciate it if you guys are finding this helpful to like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications so you don't miss the next one. Alright, let's get back to the video. And if we right now open up CME futures chart, what you're going to see is that the CME gap that Bitcoin formed over the weekend almost got filled on this week right here before Bitcoin reversed back to the upside. But it didn't close just yet. And as you know, an open CME gap is some kind of a magnet for the price, especially when Bitcoin comes this close to filling it. And remember, more than 90% of CME gaps do get filled, so that is definitely another level sitting below that I'm paying attention to. Now as for the levels you need to be paying attention to in the short term if Bitcoin does get rejected around here. The first one is of course the golden pocket of this last move up, the 618 to 65 pip zone sitting at around 79.5 to 79.4 thousand US dollars. That is the first area where Bitcoin could find some kind of a support on the way down. And then a little lower than that, we have the daily level at 78.6 thousand US dollars. And if we take the anchored VWAP and anchor it at the bottom of this move, what you're going to see is that it comes in right at the daily level. So we have the daily level and the anchored VWAP stacking up at the same area, which makes this a very important target and potential support zone for Bitcoin. But remember, below both of those levels, there is still the CME cap sitting at around 77.8 thousand US dollars. And in my opinion, that gap has a high probability of getting filled sooner rather than later, especially with how close Bitcoin already came to filling it before reversing back up. So that's where we are. I reshorted at 81.5 thousand US dollars, WXY approaching completion, and multiple levels lining up below. As always, this is not financial advice and manage your risk. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.